The man knocked overboard lasted no amount of time at all, as the SEALs were able to easily get him in the water. The guards had no firearms on them at all, lest the prisoners get the firearms from them. They had the collapsible batons, but those were only as good as entertaining the mutant SEALs, which surrounded the guards, and then had 3 more security guard snacks. There was a lot of erping and barking and screaming, but the screams didn't last very long, and then Double XL hopped back down with an awkward look on his face. I could imagine that wasn't fun to see, but at the same time I didn't know exactly what to think or what to say. I didn't feel super bad because those people knew exactly what they were doing. Human trafficking and feeding people to seal mutants alive and the psychological torture. I refused to feel bad about the situation. We weren't done yet, though, and there was 1 security guard left, and hopefully X9X had figured that out. And who knows if there wasn't a contingent of backup troops on the way, and we probably didn't have a lot of time. I guess we would go see how X9X was doing. Chapter 25, The Plan Proceeds, Day 3. Me, able to deal with the negativity, and XPX seemingly be able to deal with it now, and Double XL in his full black light observant suit, we were ready. All of us grabbed our belongings, and I texted X9X to let him know our side is done, and we were on our way out. I assumed he would know this, though, watching the security cameras, and we headed out. I had debated letting everybody else trapped there know the plan, but between the lockdown notice on loop blaring and everyone screaming, I wasn't sure if anyone was even aware or would understand, so I decided we would deal with it later. We ran by and they looked up confused but still screaming at us and at each other, and then curled back into their balls and hitting the ground and walls, and we went to the guard station. X9X was there with a slumped over security guard handcuffed around a service pipe with his belt off and now around X9X. X9X said, I was trying to help him get the darn lockdown lifted, and the taser accidentally got jammed in his neck and turned on and off repeatedly until he passed out. I don't know how it happened. Yeah, I don't know either, I responded and shrugged, and then I looked at all the security wires had been ripped out and none of the cameras were working anymore. I continued sarcastically but not accusingly, something's wrong with the cameras. X9X understanding my attempts at humor and responded without taking offense. Yep, let me turn on the security system outside. The klaxons turned on and the mutant SEALs walked away, slower at first due to all the food, and then hurried. And the gates on both sides came up. Now let me turn off the security on the train drone and recall it. And he did that and at the same time lifted the lockdown, and voila, the doors opened and the train drone returned. Everything reset. Back to normal. Then a crackle came through the radio. What's your status? We don't have visuals. We got lockdown emergency codes. Fire team inbound. ETA 15 minutes. Crap, I exclaimed, then continued. We have to move fast. Double XL, work with X9X to gather up every single piece of intel you can, then get the doctors, as they are prisoners here too, and meet in the warehouse. Prepare to receive injured XPX. You need to go to the auxiliary power station and turn its power to maximum. Meet back here. I have to go down the next level and shut it off. We're gonna blow this place. Double XL and X9X had a security guard. I grabbed a security card and XPX grabbed one, and we all nodded, and off everybody went. Chapter 26. The plan continues. Evening, day 3. I run into the warehouse, into the freight elevator. It got much thicker and denser here emotionally and psychologically. I hit the power button to go down, and the door opened immediately, and I stepped inside. There were 3 floors, one above and one below, the one above being the roof. I hit the button to go down, but nothing happened. There was a gray panel here with a red light next to it. I held my badge there for a few seconds, and the red light turned off, and the green light turned on with a beep. I hit the button again, and with a big shudder typical of a freight elevator, it slowly made its way down. The doors opened, and it looked and felt horrible in here, like half science lab monitoring station, half ritual place. The whole experience was very unsettling, to say the least. I could hear or feel some sort of turbines or engines running, and got my map out. I tried to look at it, but it was hard to focus. I turned the paper to the left and right, and turned myself to the left and right, and eventually got myself somewhat oriented. I blinked a few times, but that was a bad idea because I kept getting flashing images of unpleasantness. I looked around for anything resembling switches or toggles or wires coming in, and eventually found them on a wall that would naturally be heading towards the auxiliary station. It had all kinds of warnings saying that power had to stay below a certain amount and that the input here had to stay above a certain amount, and equilibrium and synergy and core stabilization and blah blah blah. I took the phone out and started taking pictures with the camera function and then started turning all the knobs and dials down to 0. I could hear and feel both the ambient hum in the room turn down, and then some temperature gauge things started to go up. Well, that's not good, I said to myself. I looked for anything else to take pictures of, or maybe external hard drives or anything to take with me, and saw some piles of paperwork and some USB sticks that all looked important. I took it all and shoveled it into a laptop bag, the one that had the logo on it that looked like it was Wi-Fi proof, which was cool. That was sitting nearby. Then I headed back to the elevator, already feeling so much better. XXL and X9X had already gathered with the doctors at the train drone. I tossed X9X the laptop bag and said, "This stuff looked important," and ran off to go get the prisoners. I ran down the cubbies and told everyone it was safe to come out and that they were already uncurling and feeling the weight of horror lifting off them. I said that we needed to go immediately because bad men were coming very soon, and we needed to go and they needed to hurry. The doctors and their assistants came and helped me bring out the worst ones, and the rest helped each other get to the train. When we came back, X9X had the train prepped to go, and XXL had taken off his security suit and tucked it away in a sack with him for later study as to not alarm the now freed prisoners. XPX came running back into the warehouse from the side door saying, "She's ready to go," and X9X told the train drone to take us to the boat right away. Chapter 27, Escape, Night, Day 3. As the train drone was making its way to the boat, there were already small explosions starting to go off in the auxiliary power building and the main lab. Nothing major yet, but you could tell we had found the right combination. The fence looked like it wanted to go down, but the train was still going strong. We finally got to the boat after 100 feet of track or so. As we got closer, I noticed it was sort of a repurposed Navy patrol vessel. Wonder how they got this. As I was thinking that, X9X used his taser prod to make loud crackling noises and started scaring the seal mutants away. This bought us enough time to deal with the mutant seals that were still lingering on the boat. XXL got on the 30 cal and started shooting the seals that he could. XPX and I got to some handguns we found strewn about, left behind by the seals since they weren't edible. We rolled the dead seal mutants off the boat and began the human onboarding process. There were more explosions from both buildings and the fence started to depower. It was still in a natural lock position, but the oafish mutant seals laying against it, wanting in, were quickly breaking it mechanically under the strain with no power to hold it in place. I quickly got everyone remaining off the train drone and asked X9X if he could send it off in defensive mode. That made him happy. He sent it towards the seals, who had now successfully crashed the fence down and activated all of the defenses. It went in swinging, sending seals everywhere and zapping ones that got in the way with its electrified frame. That bought us the time we needed to get everyone on board. I unmoored us from the dock and hopped on the ship. Then I pulled in the plank and someone else pulled in the rope. As we pulled away, I snapped more pictures of the facility exploding with my camera. I turned around to look, and the doctors were setting up makeshift triage areas for the now freed prisoners with first aid kits they took with them, scavenged from the vessel, and the supplies still on pallets. X9X went into the cabin to talk to whoever was manning the boat. It was a fairly large boat now that I had a chance to walk around on it, more than enough for the 30 or so of us to be on deck without causing an issue, and we started to head north. I looked around to make sure everyone was being taken care of, and the head neurosurgeon was leading up the efforts. He was instructing the doctors and assistants to take maximum care. There were more big explosions behind us, and a big plume of smoke started to cover our escape as the sun set. I went into the cabin and punched in some codes to the radio since nobody was using it.